Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 4, episode number 8. Tonight's the sports edition. Andy's on assignment. We got Craig from Philly. How are you doing, Craig?
Pretty good.
What we're going to do today on the sports edition is do a review. As you can see, we're wearing our Minnesota Golden Gophers clothing, right? Our tops. Gophers played today in the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit, Michigan, Craig, and we're going to review the game. Gophers went in with only 5 wins. They didn't have enough teams. You have to have 6 to play in a bowl game. So they kind of shot out, I think, some emails and says, hey, who wants to play a bowl game? And Gopher says, we'll do it. They went and they played today. So they won the game 30-24, and I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Craig. PJ Fleck is now 5-0 in bowl games. 7-0 the Gophers are as a whole in the last 7 bowl games. But do you count this the Quick Lane Bowl against Bowling Green with only a 6-point win? I think the line was 3.5. A lot of people I was talking to over the Christmas break says, the Gophers got to win this game by double digits, 10, 15, 20 points they should win. Now, they only won by 6. Is that good or bad or okay?
That's fine with me. It's a wash of a year anyway. So by winning by 10 or 15, what does that mean?
From what I read is that it shouldn't be a close nail biter of a game. They should win comfortably, and they kind of did. They had a 2-touchdown lead, and then they gave up a touchdown at the end. But a win's a win, is what you're saying. They won. They got the win. They're up to 6 wins now in the season, and now it closes the book on the 2023 season. How do you think it was? A wash of a season, ups and downs?
100% wash. I mean, it was a terrible year for the Gophers, by far. I know we had a tough schedule with Ohio State, Michigan, and all those other, tough opponents, but getting waxed by Purdue, losing to Northwestern, Illinois. I mean, only good win was Iowa.
And that was a 2-point win. It was there, and it was a disputed call at the end, but still, their defense came through and they beat Iowa, which finished the season, I think, ranked 17th, or that's where they were. That's where they're at now, 17th.
So I'm looking at the stats, and Kramer is he a senior, right?
Yeah, so Kramer, who pitched, started the quarterback today, was Cole Kramer, the Eden Prairie kid, right? He's a redshirt senior. This is his 5th year.
He threw for 26 yards. I am sorry. If you're a senior, Norman Dale can go out there and throw for more than 26 yards against Bowling Green. I mean, he's a senior. I don't get what's going on with the program. We've had that all season long.
Well, this was his first. He's played. He's taken snaps and he's played, but I don't know if he's ever started a game at the University of Minnesota. And he's not coming back next year. He's done. He was going to he got a start. He was able to win a bowl game as his only start, really. He went 8 for 16. Like you said, not a lot of passing yards, but their normal quarterback entered the portal and left. They knew they'd beat Bowling Green probably just by running the ball. They didn't want to make many mistakes with the I don't want to say the youngster or the new guy, the young kid, but the senior. So they said, let's run the ball 40 times and mix in a couple passes here and there. And he completed 50%. I think he threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 1.
Yeah, yes.
The stats aren't the best, but I think that was probably the game plan, I think, was to turn around and hand that ball off and play it safe. It was a conservative game is what I think.
Well, I told you last week, the only way for the Gophers to beat Bowling Green is if they rush for 279 yards. And it's pretty close to it. I mean, Taylor had 200 and Kramer had 31 and Newman had 24. So my inter-school math ain't doing the math really quick here, but that's close to 270. So, yeah, that's the only way they could beat Bowling Green today is by pounding it. And they did.
So it was at Ford Field, indoors. A lot of Detroit Lions fans there, of course, because they won their first division title in 30 years. So they were there. Bowling Green fans were there. Bowling Green's in Kentucky. Gopher fans were there. It was interesting. But the running back, now that's a true freshman, right?
Yes, I believe. Yes.
Darius Taylor.
Yeah, he got hurt during the year, so they kind of went with Newbin for a while, but
so that's why he's back. He's 100% healthy. They gave him the ball 35 times, and he ran for 208 yards and a touchdown. Great game, but they just got it was nice to be able to spotlight him and give him the focus and take the pressure off the quarterback. But is that what you want in a bowl game? Do you want to play it safe and kind of do conservative things and just kind of squeak by with the win?
no, I'm a little disappointed in that. But that's the way Minnesota's made up, is pound the ball. But I mean, he threw for 26 yards in a game. How you could plan on beating Wisconsin, Iowa, anybody like that?
Well, now the quarterback that they're going to get for next year is the New Hampshire kid, right?
Supposedly
from the FCS. FCS, which is the next division down, the subdivision. He threw for 40 touchdown passes and whatnot. Had a tremendous. He's going to be the guy, it sounds like, and they're going to get him. But then because he entered the portal and was snatched up right away, some other better quarterbacks entered the portal later that the Gophers didn't have a shot at. But I don't know if they wanted those other guys. I think they wanted this guy.
Yeah, they got what they wanted. And
so he'll be the starter. So this game didn't matter as far as anything for Cole Kramer, just to get a start, he's able to say he won a bowl game. So does Fleck. And they can enter the offseason on a high note. But the defensive coordinator left. So they've got some things to do. Now, this is the last year, Craig, of the normal Big Ten as we know it. Next year, the Pac-12 will be absorbing 4 teams, and the schedule's out. Schedule for the Gophers. They play 2 of them this year, and I think 2 next year. But USC is a home game at Huntington Bank Stadium, and UCLA is on the road. The rest of the schedule is 9 other opponents that we play that are Big Ten, and then 3 non-conference. But like you say, you're throwing the ball and having a quarterback that can compete. How are they going to do against a team like USC, UCLA? The UCLA game is there at the Rose Bowl, in Pasadena. The USC game is here. Are you planning to go to any one of those games?
Unless you're going to reincarnate the 85 Bears or the Baltimore Ravens defense, they got to be able to throw at some point. You're going to be stuck in some 3rd and 8s, and you got to be able to convert some of those to beat these teams,
So if they use the new guy, the New Hampshire kid, he'll be with the team now for the spring workouts, the training practices, the playbook. He'll be coming in ready to go, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I guess the scout real deal.
So, and Cole Kramer, to his benefit, is this is really the only week all year or the last couple of weeks before the bowl game is that he even took snaps with the first team. Technically, he never practiced even with the starters because he's a true backup. Whereas this new guy now is going to be coming in and has the whole offseason to learn and pick up the offense and everything else. And he can throw the ball. He could chuck it. And they got receivers, right?
Yeah, I don't know I haven't looked to see who's coming back for the Gophers, but we got to develop a tight end. And it looks that one tight end caught a touchdown pass today, Gears. So they got to get a tight end and a good slot receiver, and I think we'll be fine throwing the ball. So if we can develop those 2 things, I think we'll be fine. Just throw for 200. Go for 200 and run the ball on an average.
And then 2 years down the road, we're going to have Washington Huskies and the Oregon Ducks on the schedule. I mean, this is the last of what I call the easier schedules. This is it. I mean, it's going to be tough now.
So where are all the 4 of the Pac-12 teams going into the Big Ten West, or is it going to be 2 and 2? 2 teams going to the East or 2 going to the West?
I don't know. The thing that they announced for the schedule is just the opponents for the next 2 years, and if they're home or away. We'll have to see how that all shakes out. I don't know. I haven't looked that up.
Yeah, it'd be a
Yeah.
good thing to know if USC and UCLA are going to be in the West and Washington and Oregon are going to be in the East. I don't know how it's going to shake up.
Yeah, all the teams geographically are, of course, in the West. But what you're asking here, Craig, is for the listeners: is are they going to put them, obviously in the West, or are they going to break it up to keep it even? I don't know. It'll be interesting. Now you're in Philly. You're a longtime Gopher fan that's just been out there a couple of years and have gone to a Penn State game already. And what's the other game you've gone to? North Carolina? No,
No, I missed that.
maybe Rutgers this year.
Yeah, Rutgers. That's the closest I'm going to get. The Gophers are coming. They're not coming to Maryland. If I saw it right, I think
Okay.
Rutgers is closest to me. So I'm going to be going. Now that Delaware is going Division One, so I have to check that out too.
And Delaware is another FCS team that did very well the last few years. And is that where Flacco's from?
Yeah. So we'll see
what's
how
your
that.
thoughts on Fleck? PJ Fleck, how's he doing? In your opinion?
He's the best coach the Gophers have ever had, hands down. We had that awesome season where we were in the college football playoff talk to the end of the year. He's done great things for the program, but the last 2 years have really been a downer. I give him one more year. I'm on the Fleck bandwagon for one more year. Then we might want to start scouting the Northwestern coach or the Kansas coach, see if we can lure them to Minnesota, because I don't know. I just, we get one injury and he complains that we got injuries. Well, you got to recruit. You got to get your depth. I don't get it, because we got a brand new stadium. We got like one of the best athletic facilities in the Big Ten. It should be, and he's a mouthpiece, so we should be getting kids in, next man up mentality.
As far as he's such a good motivational speaker, and I don't want to say salesman, but a good motivator to get guys in to be recruited. Like he got the kid Esco from Minnesota, our top guy is coming here now, and he's wavering about going to Ohio State Buckeyes for this defensive back. He committed to the Gophers now, so if we can get more guys like that. But the other thing about his thing that he's good at is the NIL. You would think that the name, image, likeness, you'd be able to get guys from the portal because of his motivation. You should be getting those types of guys, and we're not.
He should be able to steal 3 guys a year. They either played at Clemson, somewhere, Notre Dame, whatever. He should be able to steal 3 guys a year to fill a hole
from that portal.
Yeah, and I understand that maybe Minnesota doesn't throw around the NIL money, so that's a deterrent. So, but I don't know. I think you should be able to still, not just kids from Eastern Michigan here,
Yeah.
So
we've got the off season, then we've got the schedule starts next year. With these two new teams, and we got to see how we're going to shake things out. But now we're going to have the new quarterback, a freshman running back, which will be a sophomore. But how deep are we for running backs? As far as, don't we have seniors and juniors on the squad?
No,
we're freshmen that good.
We're pretty thin. A couple guys transferred out. I think we got a couple coming in though, but quality wise, I think we only got 2 really good running backs coming in for next season. I could be wrong. I haven't been up to date on.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much on the depth chart either, but they should be good. But Fleck's been always talking about, once we get a couple years under our belts and we get everyone signed on, we're going to be that team. We're going to be in that top tier. We're going to be a big caliber team. And it just never, other than that one year you mentioned, we're kind of stuck in that 500, a couple games over 500, 8-5, 7-6, and now this year with 6, we went 6-7 out of 13 games. Are fans stepping away because of that, or do they think, hey, this is just a blip in the radar and we'll get back on track?
I think they're stepping. Like with me, I'm starting to step.
I found myself watching a couple games early in the season, and then after a couple of those losses, particularly that Northwestern loss, I didn't turn on the. I don't watch a lot of Gophers the rest of the. I watched the second half today of the bowl game, but I don't clear aside a schedule to say, look, I'm going to watch this whole game. I'll turn it on and see how they're doing, but I think there's a lot of fans like that.
It's all right to win games 16-10, but our defense was pretty bad towards the end of the year, and we can't move the ball. Our offense wasn't good, so that's a recipe to disaster. You gotta have one or the other, preferably both, but you can't have both that are mediocre. You're not gonna win, and that's what happened. So
and if you're a passing team, you have to have the complementary running game. It doesn't have to be the best, but you need to have as a complement that if you're a passing team, you need to run. If you're a big running team, you have to complement it with a good or an adequate or a serviceable passing game. Got to have one's got to be good.
If you play Michigan, what do you think their game plan is? Or Ohio State? They already got more talent than you. They just load the box, keep them to 2 yards of carry, make them throw the ball on 3rd and 7. It's pretty simple. You got to be able to give them something to look at that can open up the running game. Can't throw for 87 yards against Ohio State. Hey, you got to be able to do something there. Keep them off a little bit.
So, do you think the Gophers then will be in a top tier or a second tier bowl game next year, or maybe a New Year's 6, or just like a December 30 bowl game?
December 28th.
Something like that.
We'll be back at Yankee Stadium. We'll be playing
Pinstripe.
Yeah, we'll be playing
the Bronx.
We'll be playing
which isn't a bad thing either, right? If you go 500 or more and you make a bowl game, you go there and you win it, it's all fun. But I think the fans are waiting for this 11-2 season, this 12-1 season, to start coming regularly is what they want. That's tough to do at any level.
Yeah, but the problem is now you got 4 Pac-12 teams, 4 of the best teams in the Pac-12 coming into the conference. So where's your wins going to happen? Can't be Ohio, can't beat Michigan on a Penn State you probably can't beat. So, it's going to be murder row from here on out.
So for the listeners who don't know that, what Craig just said is, Washington's coming in. They're the second-ranked team. They're undefeated. They'll be in our conference next year. We're not playing them, but this is what we got to deal with. We already have Michigan, Ohio State. Now you're going to get the likes of an Oregon Ducks, UCLA, USC. It doesn't get any easier. Wisconsin and Iowa are always tough. Indiana, we can't beat Illinois. And Northwestern's on the up. It's a backbreaker schedule.
Yeah, and you always got Iowa and Wisconsin, who historically just play great against us, So,
and then you try to get the wins by scheduling easier non-conference at the beginning to try to get your wins up, but that doesn't help you prepare for these big games. So now you've got to schedule tough non-conference, and so then a 6-6 record is more in line of what's probably going to happen, right?
Yeah, I have faith in Fleck for one more year. So
we'll see how it goes with Fleck one more year, but I think they lost a lot of fans this year. I know they won the game against Bowling Green. I know they won the quick lube. Yay, rah, rah, all that stuff. But still, you came in with 5 wins. You used a first-time quarterback starting. You don't have a defensive coordinator. All the NIL, the people are moving around here after the regular season ends and before the bowl season. People are entering the portal. So Florida State, for their game, had to issue the depth chart for the Orange Bowl because so many people have already moved around. We're going to see the whole rest of the big bowl games that are coming up now are going to be not the same familiar names on all these teams. There's going to be backups, which is great for them, great for the kids. Second, third string guy is now going to be possibly starting in a big game. It's going to be great, but it's not going to have the same impact, I don't think.
Did we ever figure out what next year's college football playoffs going to? 6 teams, 8 teams?
So they're going to 12.
Next year? bro?
Yes. This is the last year of the 4. Next year it goes to 12.
Oh, jeez. What are these guys going to play? 18 games then for the season?
So it's going to be, and the first round games are at the home stadium. It's going to be an additional home game for the higher seed. And then
There
the
we go.
semifinals and quarterfinals and are going to be at neutral sites. But it's going to be 3 weeks of playoffs. The schedule's out there. I should send it over to you or post it on the page because they have them for the next 2 years, the dates and times and what. I don't think the networks yet, but they know what, if it's an early afternoon game or a night game, and if the Peach Bowl's a quarterfinal game or a semifinal or the Sugar Bowl's the championship, they've got those set already.
So,
But it's going to go to 12. So we're going to hear all about the teams that are 13th and 14th that, are on the bubble that are complaining is what we'll hear about first. But then the rest is it's single elimination. So it's going to be fun.
yeah, I didn't know it's going to 12. So now I get to see Ole Miss in the college football playoff. All right. Maybe.
Yeah, it'll be this should be fun. Now, doesn't mean the Gophers will be in it with 12, but more Big Ten teams, of course, are going to be in the hunt. But it's a tougher schedule. So I'm interested to see how it'll play out. So I'm looking forward to next year, Craig.
I think they should take every division champ and they're automatically in. Into the college football playoffs.
Yeah,
And
they would earn an automatic bid per se
yeah,
into the playoff. Yeah.
exactly.
Now, okay, that's good. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun to see how all that shakes out. So in the next couple of weeks, the next week, we're going to be basically done with football, except for the championship title game is January 7th, I believe. But a week from now, all the games will be done. This should be some good football coming up. This time of year is always fun, Craig.
Yeah, it's gonna be Texas and Alabama in the championship game. Texas winning.
It could. Now, Michigan is the number 1 team in the nation, number 1 seed. But
I'm going fourth on Michigan here. They could
they
be
are.
out.
They may not.
I wouldn't bet against Michigan if I was in Vegas, but I don't know.
So historically, I don't know if the listeners know this, but this is the 10th year now. In the final year, they're doing the college football playoff with the 4 teams. The Big Ten, the teams that have come from the Big Ten, only Ohio State has ever won a semifinal game from the Big Ten to get to the championship. And then they won the title one year and they got to it another time and then they lost. No other team has even won the semifinal game. So Michigan's got that in their back too, because it's going to be tough just to win that first game because of the Big Ten historical record. But maybe they win and they win the whole thing. But Big Ten teams have not done well at this level historically, other than the Buckeyes.
Yeah, correct.
It's not out of the question to say that Michigan is going to lose that first game. And then you do get a Texas and Alabama final and Washington loses. Maybe it's.
I want Michigan personally and Washington winning it all, but that's just me. But I don't have it that way. If I was betting, I'm not having it that way. So.
All right. Well, Craig, thanks for your time for coming on the show. It'll be a fun season to watch for the Gophers and college football with the whole landscape altogether. I think it's going to be very interesting next year.
Yeah, we should look at getting Deion Sanders for coach.
Oh, the Colorado Buffaloes. He finished last, but he was the player of the coach of the year, sportsman of the year or something, as far as all he did.
Jesus.
It did to the program. But Fleck was kind of like that. I think Fleck was hoping this is what it would be when he came to Minnesota, kind of like this circus atmosphere with Colorado, but it kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
We'll see. So one more year for Fleck and we'll go from there. All right, Craig, thanks for your time. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you, buddy.
All right, see you. All right, I ended the recording.